Okay, Survivor fans, we have just watched episode 2 of San Juan del Sur, and I'm here with Matt Noble. Matt, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you, Marcus. So
I'm sure this,
nice.
I'm sure this is a nice birthday present talking about Survivor, right?
There is very little I prefer doing than talking about Survivor, and that's been true for about, I don't know, 15 years of my life. Like,
Yeah, same boat.
is
Um,
that probably more than half of my life? Survivor's been on now.
wow. I still remember watching season 1. I
Yeah.
think I was a senior in high school, and just
Yeah.
the Richard domination of season 1 just amazing. I'm so glad he won that year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going for Rich. I know everyone at school had like different favorites. A lot of people like Rudy and stuff. Yeah, but boy, that was 2000. So that is 14 years. Boy,
Well,
insane.
let's talk about episode 2. The episode started with Josh explaining to Baylor why he voted for her. I thought his reasoning was absolutely insane. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I don't get his argument at all that people won't know that we're together because I voted for you, because no one would have thought that the Baylor was going to go home. So it was a throwaway vote. Um, in some ways, if I was on the tribe with him and he was coming up to me saying, I voted for Baylor because I don't like her, part of me would think, well, that doesn't make sense. Maybe he's trying to, like, it's sort of like overcompensating, like, sort of like playing his hand so strongly that he doesn't like Baylor that I would think, oh, maybe he likes Baylor. I don't know. It
Right.
just, to me, and, like, to not check with her first is insane as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm on Baylor's side. Like, you could pretend we're not in the alliance, that's fine, but don't vote for me and tell me afterwards it's because, oh, it's because we're so close. I didn't want people to know. You need to tell me that beforehand.
She should not trust a thing he says for now.
Right.
If she still wants to work with him, that's fine. She can still be in an alliance with him, but she should now know that Josh is like all over the map. And it's funny because he seems like such a smart player. Like in some ways, he seems
Yeah.
like he could maybe win the game, and then a vote like that just doesn't make any sense because it could ruffle the feathers of all the guys in your alliance for going off plan. It ruffles the feathers of Baylor, and it ruffles the feathers of the other girls who he didn't vote with. So, yeah, it seemed like such a stupid move from a guy who seems like he's got some game.
Right. And even if he ends up winning, which is possible,
Hmm.
we can still go back to this moment and say that was a stupid move. It doesn't make sense. But
Yeah,
on the
and
other,
you'd rather make this stupid move now. Like
yeah,
this like it doesn't look like there's been a direct ramification for it yet. He can definitely recover from it.
right. And on the other tribe, they actually have lost their flint, and then when they go to reward and they actually win the reward, John Rocker loses to his girlfriend, and a lot happened in that scene, that couple scenes. First, he loses to a girl, and he shows kind of a sexist side that we knew he had, and this is really the first time he's mentioned that on the show. And then there was the whole the flint, the trading the flint for the fishing gear. And my question is, do you think Jeff overstepped his bounds a little bit, or do you think that was exactly what Jeff should have done at that moment?
I think as soon as the guy, as Reed it was, I think that took up the negotiation, as soon as he said, but we'll keep the fishing gear. Thank you very much. Like as soon as he said, look, we want to keep the fishing gear, you can have our beans for the flint. I think he was almost asking Jeff to not let him get away with that.
Mhm.
Like I think like he should have come before the challenge and said, hey Jeff, we lost our flint, we've brought these beans.
Right.
Rather than sort of trying to act like he was in control. And he did it so timidly too. So I think he was asking for Jeff to. I thought it was interesting. I think Jeff showed his hand a little though when they rejected his offer, and he was like, "No, you're taking this."
Yeah.
Like he's going, "I'm gonna make it so hard on you guys." I feel like that to me said that Jeff and production really wanted them to take that flint, and maybe they had a bit more leverage.
Right. Do you think Jeff knew beforehand that this would happen, or was this kind of a surprise for him as well, because I always get the impression that this is as it is, but they could have cut the scene. You know, he could have gone and talked to the producer, like, what should I say? You know, we don't know, but the way it looked, Jeff was surprised, and he just came up with this on the fly.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell, like, how much direction Jeff gets. Like, I'm sure if this was the first couple of seasons of the show, he would have, like, there would have been a cut, it would have been paused. Now he's sort of executive producer. Like, he's got a lot of say and control in this show. I'd imagine he has a bit more say in how these things go and needs a bit less direction, but they could also have cut and just talked it out as well. Like, I think maybe getting some input from other people could make sense. But yeah, I don't know.
This would be a great Emmy episode for Jeff if he ever gets nominated again. I think it's been 2-3 years now since he's been nominated, which is absolutely insane. He won 4 in a row, and then he's completely snubbed. And so then the reward after they lose, the person that goes to Exile Island is actually John Rocker, and he actually goes with Jeremy Collins. And John Rocker, of course, is a racist, and I'm not saying that just to create drama. He is a racist, and they mentioned it in the episode. And the person that he goes with is actually an African American, so I can't imagine how awkward that was for these two guys to be on Exile Island together. I think I've lost Matt. But then, so they come back from immunity, they come back from Exile Island, and then it's the immunity challenge, and once again, Hunahpu wins. So my question to everyone watching this, you can write in the comments, is this going to be one of those seasons where one tribe just completely, dominates the other tribe, like back on Palau, when there was one tribe, it won every single challenge, and they eliminated the other tribe, so that it was just one girl left. It was Stephanie. And also, one other thing, I hope Matt comes back, but one other thing we wanted to talk about was the Gold Derby odds. And right now, according to Gold Derby, this is everyone's predictions, Reed Kelly is in first place to win. He has 15-2 odds. And second place is Josh. So people really like this couple. Josh is in second place with 9-1. And then in third place is Jeremy Collins with 10-1. And then everyone else is kind of even after that, except for last place. Last place is John Rocker with 66-1 odds. In other words, according to you guys, there's absolutely no way that he will win. And we just got Matt
Marcus,
back.
You there, buddy?
Yes, I was just actually going over all of the odds for Gold Derby about who people are going to predict to win, who people are predicting to lose.
Okay, good. You just went like really static and stuff on me, but I've changed to the iPhone. Hopefully that'll work a bit better.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then was there anything else you wanted to talk about in the episode besides the reward challenge, besides John Rocker being a sexist and a racist?
Yeah, it was crazy, John Rocker. Well, John Rocker had quite the week because he was all talk but very little delivery because he couldn't win his challenge against Julie. He couldn't win his showdown sumo water fight with the other John. And he found an idol, but he also couldn't protect Val, who he's trying to protect. So he really... 3 strikes for John Rocker.
Right. And the thing is, like, everyone's keeping him because they think he's a physical threat. But you're right, he lost two challenges. So what kind of a physical threat is this guy?
He's big. So he was great that challenge where he had to climb over people to get up a ramp.
Right.
So he's got size. I guess that's helpful. But yeah, he's really been a disaster in at least this week's challenges, where it was one-on-one showdowns to boot.
Right. Those are always the best challenges because I love the blood and the tears in that challenge. I mean, poor Baylor, she like split her lip, and then John got his a little bloody nose there. I wanted to see more physical carnage.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't see the two old guys go at it. Oh no, we did see the two old Dale. I was surprised Dale beat Keith.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we do have to talk about Val lying about having two idols, not just one. She lied about having two idols, which I believe is a Survivor first. But it didn't help her. There was a tie vote at Tribal Council, and she ended up losing.
Yeah, this is interesting, the Val situation, because I feel like obviously lying about two idols was a crazy lie, but it seemed to influence how they voted. It seemed to get the heat, like they would have just all voted for Val or Jacqueline, and they even went to vote for Baylor instead of Jacqueline because they were worried, I guess, she'd play her second idol for Jacqueline. So they even
maybe that. Okay.
With that, like, so in some ways the lie went really well, but it didn't because they still were always going to bounce back to Val. So I think she needed to go to John Rocker when he was coming to her and saying, look, I've worked it out. We're going to split the vote. Just play your idol. I think that would have been time for her to say to John Rocker, actually, I don't have any idols. You're going to need to figure something else out.
Right.
Then maybe John Rocker gives her his idol. Who knows? Like,
oh, that would have been awesome.
If you want, I don't know.
It's always so much easier to play Survivor when you're watching from home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And during the tie vote, I was having a little heart attack because Baylor is my prediction to win. And here she was. I was thinking, oh, my gosh, she's going to be voted out in episode 2. But luckily she survived. And I know that you're predicting Baylor to win also, right?
Yeah, why are you picking Baylor?
It's because of what happened. Like before the first episode, actually, I watched all of the CBS videos, and I tried to make a pick, early on before the show started. And I liked Baylor. She was funny. She seems smart. She's really young, which could work against her, but she's had a ton of life experience with her mom being divorced 3 times. And she's just really likable. And we saw that in the first episode where Josh comes to her. They have a little bond. What about you? Why do you think?
I agree with everything you said. I think she positioned herself well on that first vote, which is when I sort of picked her. I thought she went with the majority. She went with the guys. Seems like she's got a bit of a alliance with Josh. Which means she's not at the bottom of the totem pole in her alliance. There was Val, there was Jacqueline below her. You could see some of those guys flaming out too, like a John Rocker. And then I think Meet the Merge, she's got room to move. Like her mum could still be in it. I could see her working with some of the girls. I see her maybe working with some of the guys. I just see she's perhaps more than... She's not going to be the target when they merge. So she can make the merge. They're going to be going for those big, strong guys, for big threats, and I can see them, Baylor, getting in on a good alliance there. So that's sort of what I'm thinking.
Right. I could even see Baylor getting to a point where she has to vote out her mom or not, and I think she would vote out her mom. She could be the new Sierra of the season.
Yeah. No, I think she could do that.
For second place, I have Reed. He is really, really likable, and he's really strong. He actually beat his boyfriend during that physical challenge. Who do you have in second?
I can't remember. And I don't have the thing in front of me because of my computer stuff. But I think, if I was to guess, I'd say maybe a Jeremy. Because he's built a lot of good alliances on his tribe. So he seems quite well positioned. And it doesn't look like he's in much risk. He could be he could go out after the merge. And maybe he's a bit bullish, so I could see him definitely flaming out. But he's positioned well. I think Dale could position himself quite well. If he can make the merge, he's no threat. He could be a threat for jury votes when they get down the line, but he seems like he knows his Survivor, and so he's up there.
I think Dale's going to be me in like 50 years. I'm going to be on a reality show going, oh, I know her. She's on The Amazing Race. Let's get her out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's him. Yeah, I don't know exactly who I second though, but I think like it probably a Jeremy.
Right. Jeremy is. I think he's in a really good position, just like Natalie is, because they don't have loved ones now. So if they're not going to be really a target, before the merge, because I think before the merge you're going to try to vote out people who have potential alliances on the other side. Jeremy and Natalie don't have that, so I could see both of those two making it to the merge pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah. I sort of look for at the point like who's got position to win. Like I don't really put high people who don't have the numbers on their side. Like Jacqueline could do well, I don't know, but the fact that she's sort of on the wrong side of all the votes means it's going to be hard for her to make the merge.
Mm-hmm.
And we can rule out people like John Rocker. Like there's no way he's going to win. So yeah. So it's like a process of elimination at this point.
Right. When I lost you temporarily, I was going over the odds. John Rocker is in last place to win according to Gold Derby's odds, and he is actually in second place to be voted out next Wednesday. So we have Julie in first place, and then Jacqueline. Oh, actually, Jacqueline and John Rocker are tied for second place to be voted out.
Yeah, I think at the moment I'm predicting Julie. I just think maybe that tribe is due a trip to tribal council, and if so, I think Jeremy's got a lot of sway in that group, and he might want to send John Rocker's girlfriend the way that his wife got sent last week.
Oh, you're right.
Which is sort of what the promo implied, which probably means she's fine. But I'd also be worried about Drew. I think Drew, if that tribe goes to tribal council, I think a lot of people are going to want to get rid of Drew because he seems to be being portrayed as just a bit of an idiot who's not doing much around camp at the moment.
Right. I like Drew's brother, but Drew is a lot to take. If I was on a tribe with Drew, I would want him out of it. It's so annoying.
Yeah. So I pretty much, I would say Julie, Drew, or Jacqueline go next week. That's sort of where my head's at.
Gotcha. All right.
What are you thinking, Marcus? Marcus, who are you calling? Who are you saying is going next week?
I don't see the Julie thing. I mean, she won both challenges, right? She won the reward, and then she won in the duo challenge. I think her tribe's going to want to keep her because she's one of the stronger ones. Guy or girl, she's one of the strongest ones on their tribe.
Yeah. Who do they get rid of then if that tribe goes to tribal?
I think maybe Keith.
Who, sorry?
Keith, the Keith. Firefighter. Yeah.
Okay, Keith.
Because
Jeremy said he'd look out for him.
Yeah, but I just don't see it. He's one of the older ones. He's not bringing a lot to the tribe. He doesn't have a lot of intelligence either, and that's important. If you're old, you have to be smart like Dale.
Yeah. And it's two episodes ago that Jeremy promised that to Keith. Like probably statutes of limitation on looking out for Val, who's not even there anymore, is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What was there any final thoughts you had on the episode?
It was really just, I think, a poor play by Val and poor play by John Rocker.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, I'm yet to see anyone emerge as this great Survivor player, which is fine. Last season, I wouldn't have called Tony a great Survivor player after episode 2.
Right. But you've called some winners in the past early on too, right?
Yeah, I usually get a bit of and they're not necessarily that I go like, oh, this person's definitely going to win. But I can sort of see that they've positioned themselves well. So I think like a Kim Spradlin, when she got that alliance with Chelsea going in the first couple of episodes, I could tell that she was a really good player. And she would have been my winner's pick and she would have gone all the way. And she ended up winning. Natalie White, I thought early on in her season, I know a lot of people were very focused on Russell, but I sort of picked her very early that year. And JT, the year he won, I thought was in a good spot too, pretty early on. It's hard with all these seasons because you don't know when the merge comes who's going to have the numbers. Mm-hmm. And that's why, you can have some picks early on that look really good, but then they fall on the wrong side of the numbers, come the merge, and then they bomb out. But those seasons, I think it's when someone gets in a good alliance, and you can see that there's someone who's really perceptive and good at that social element of the game. And I think that was sort of the case with Natalie, sort of the case with Kim, sort of the case with JT. You could see them building part of a really strong alliance, and also they were really good at connecting with people and really good at building strong bonds with people. But then again, sometimes I'm really bad with the predictions. Like with Boston Rob, who played such a dominant game, I didn't really believe until sort of the last week that he could actually win the show.
Okay. Yeah,
I just thought
I'm half and half with winners. Like last year, I was pretty bad. Well, I mean, I started out predicting Garrett, and Garrett was the second person voted off. But then I switched to Sarah, and Sarah was the Cops R Us alliance. I thought she had everything that a winner needed, but she trusted the wrong person. She trusted Tony, and I think after she got voted out at the merge, I switched to Tony. So I had him like half the game. I think by the merge, you can usually tell who has a good shot. That was a really good shot.
Yeah, I think last season I had Sarah was my initial pick, and then sort of a bit before the merge, I switched to Spencer. I thought he was in a really good spot. Sort of post-swap. I think when the swap happened, I thought Spencer's in a great position now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept Spencer until maybe the last week just because I wanted to keep my pick as long as possible. But post-merge, I could see more and more that Tony's game was improving, or at least it was.
I think we lost Matt again.
Sort of my pick last season, I'd say. So
you're kind of cutting in and out. So might be a good time. Might be a good time to end.
Wrap it up.
I'll just say I hope Baylor wins so that we'll both be right. That would be awesome.
Yeah. How fun would that be? How good is that? So, cheers, Marcus.
All right, cool. Happy birthday again, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.